My name is Ryan Morrow, and this is my Week 7 assignment for Introduction to Firearms, FTT 100, at Sonoran Desert Institute. Today's date is Sunday, October 19th, 2025. For this week's assignment, I'll be field stripping, talking a little bit about, and cleaning the Springfield SA-35 in 9x19mm. This is Springfield's take on the Browning FN High Power, which was originally designed by John Moses Browning and Dieudonné Sève. The original high power was contracted by the French military in 1935, which is why Springfield Arms calls it the SA-35. As you can see, the weapon is empty, chamber is flagged, there's no ammunition in the gun. We're going to quickly go over the cycle of operations. With a magazine inserted, and the slide is brought forward, it would strip a round off of the magazine's receiver, push it up that feed ramp right there, feeding the round up nose first into the chamber, and then chambering it. You'll notice this is Browning's tilting barrel locking action. You can see that the barrel actually raises up into place, locked into battery. This is a short recoil, semi-automatic, single action pistol, meaning the trigger only performs one action, not two, not a double action. So after the gun is locked, the trigger is depressed, the hammer drops and strikes the rear of the firing pin. That strikes the primer, fires the round, forcing the slide to move rearward and begin unlocking. Once again, you'll see the barrel tilt as it unlocks. You can see it's got an external extractor. It's got a little claw, holds onto the extractor groove, pulls the spent case rearward, extracting it from the chamber. Once it travels far enough back, this ejector, you can see that starting to protrude. This ejector kicks out the spent case entirely. And as the slide travels backwards, performing the extracting and ejecting, it also recocks the hammer. And as it goes back forward, it then strips another round off the top of the magazine, pushes it back up that ramp, and refeeds the gun. And you start over from the beginning. So there are 3 separate notches cut into the slide. The one on your far left, you'll see, is for your slide catch. And the one on your far right is for the safety. And the one in the middle is actually a takedown notch. Have to pull it back all the way to its rearward position, let off a little bit, and engage that on the safety. Apply pressure from right to left of the takedown pin and push your slide catch a little bit up, and it'll come right out. Now just let off the tension, slide comes off. Guide rod and recoil spring come out. Be careful, hold on to them so they don't go flying. Take the recoil spring off the guide rod and lift your barrel out. Pretty simple. And that is as field stripped as it ever needs to be for general maintenance and cleaning. The gun is pretty filthy at the moment, but that's okay because we're going to be cleaning it later in the video. Let's take a look at some of the parts that are involved in all those steps of the cycle of operations. Like I said before, you'd have a round stripped off the top of the magazine and pushed forward by the slide up this ramp. There's a feed ramp, pushing the round, the nose into the chamber to start it before it locks in place. With the slide off, you can't drop the hammer with the trigger. It's actually got a transfer bar through the back of the slide here. It sort of pivots and hinges, which then trips the hammer sear. Falling hammer, it's the back of your firing pin. When the hammer strikes it, it hits the back of the primer. If you are interested in removing the firing pin, you can take a tool, depress it, notch that backwards, and be ready to catch it as it comes out. There's also a firing pin spring, oops, right there. This typically doesn't get dirty very fast with the ammo that I shoot, but it's starting to get a little grime built up, so I'm going to go ahead and clean it. After the round is fired, the barrel tilts down to unlock. The slide starts moving rearward. Here you can see the external extractor has a claw actually grabs onto the brass. And once it goes back far enough, there's the ejector we saw protruding earlier. Just like before, the slide traveling backward, performing those tasks, recocks the hammer, takes the firing process back to the start again. So this is not my typical preferred gun cleaning kit, but this was a really nice one supplied by SDI. So what I like to use is a nice just throwaway shop rag, plenty of disposable square patches, a nice gun scrubbing solvent. This one's an old can of Gunslick foaming bore cleaner. It's pretty good stuff. This stuff seems to work pretty good on carbon buildup. In fact, I'm using it right now to soak down black powder residue in my 1861 Springfield. And then one of my favorite lubricants is Hops number 9. I'm also going to implement Q-tips, a plastic bristle brush, and this cleaning rod with a T-handle. As per the assignment, I'll be basing the steps of cleaning here off of SDI's gun cleaning lab. And because the cleaning process is virtually identical, I'm going to be referencing the 1911 portion. First here, I cleaned the bore with a wire brush attachment and then patches. Next, I cleaned the 1911 style locking lugs with solvent and lightly lubricated them. Next, I move on to scrubbing the inside top of the slide with solvent, as well as the slide rails. Next up, I hit the breech face. Then just oil the slide rails and move on to the frame. Here you'll see me scrub down the frame rails, scrub out the magazine well, and then finish off by running a clean cloth through the mag well. And then before I finally reassemble everything, I like to give all the small components a little wipe down, try to knock off any carbon or residue that's been left behind. Just get them all generally clean. Firing pin spring, firing pin. Replacing this is a little tricky to get this plate back in the way. You'll have to use a tool such as a punch or a nice pen works pretty well. Get it started, get it down below that notch, get it part of the way on like that. That little lip is holding the firing pin. Push the pin in, get it over the top, and all the way it should snap in place, just like that. Next, replace your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod. This is the orientation of your ring, pointed. Very carefully compress that spring. Don't let it go flying. Sometimes you gotta hold your mouth just right. Now before we put the slide back on, we do want to put a little bit of lubrication on the frame rails here. Just enough to slick things up. Get the back of the slide started on the frame rails. It'll slide right back. You may have to push and wiggle just a little bit. Bring it back to where we started on this takedown notch. Realign your slide catch. Push it straight through, up and in. That way it falls all the way into place. Then let off the safety. Now perform functions checks. Make sure everything works just fine. And that's how you field strip, properly clean, and reassemble the Springfield SA-35.